try this again.
Welcome.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh man, I sound loud and distorted. Turn me down, turn me down, turn me down. There we are. Less distorted.
Good now?
I sound less distorted. But you know why I sounded distorted?
The heat?
Because I am what the Haitians in the joint called a razor tongue.
What's that mean?
It
I'm not
just
familiar with the Haitians that much.
means I got a sharp tongue.
Oh, okay.
I'm also
Just what it sounded like.
they also called me the Polo Association assassin.
I know Ralph calls you that.
I'm
but
Sean
everybody
Cove.
does?
I'm Sean Cove. And across from me is the kid with the golden digits who fathered the fashion faux pas of Limp Bizkit, Payday Jones.
I'm not the only one in here with my hat backwards, you know.
No, but you have the MLB fitted. I mean, it's not red.
Well, so I can't wear anything but fitteds. And the reason is that my ridiculously oversized head, like if you get like the snapbacks on me, I have to use just the last spot on the snapback. And so then it goes like into a V and it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I have to do fitted. I don't have a choice.
Let's see how this works.
All right.
I'm going to give it a shot because I don't care.
What, you going live?
I'm bringing Ray Santiago into the chat because he asked to come in, and
All right.
I don't give a fuck if it records or not. I'm just ready to have a drink and a good time at this point.
All right, let's do it. Bring him in. Do you have the dongle plugged in?
The dongle's plugged in,
Okay.
so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't.
Let's
I
see.
really don't know.
Let's do it.
We're running into all types of situations
Yeah.
this evening,
We're going to have to break the whole thing down and start from scratch.
and we are, sure enough,
Welcome to the gig. You late for work.
we are late for work,
Late for work indeed.
as has been happening to us time and time again.
Ever since Comcast took our internet away.
Ray, I tried to bring you in. I don't know what happened there, Jack.
Oh, did Facebook not let you bring him in? Like,
Correct.
that wasn't a us issue. That was a them. Okay.
That's them.
For once.
So, me and Gavone were talking this week. Neither one of us needs to get a dick implant, I don't think.
Well, which kind are we talking about?
I haven't. What up, Ray? Well, I wish I could bring you in, but it's the fucking thing's acting crazy. We're having all types of silly shit going on with our equipment, and so it is what it is. Yeah. So we were discussing dick implants. Now, there's a few different ways that you can get a penile implant. They could take fat from another part of your body and inject it into your peen. But that doesn't see. I don't see how that can give you length. That seems like you're just
That's a
going to get
girth
some
thing.
girth from
Yeah.
that.
They say the girth is the important part, though.
I guess. I don't know. They said there you could put like they said something about shooting acid into your hammer.
Right.
I'm not sure that that's the
You're
route
not
that
big on
I
that.
would go.
Sure.
Seems a little dangerous,
Well,
you know?
and it's probably no more or less dangerous than injecting fat into your dick. Like, we're probably on the same
I don't know. I think that
same plateau there.
I think I would feel more comfortable taking fat off of like my love handle
Okay.
and putting that in the hammer rather than a foreign substance
okay.
and injecting that.
So what if it was like stomach acid then? So like from you anyway.
Oh, like bile?
yeah.
You got a
Your
bile dick?
Yeah.
Old BD?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Like they used to do it in the old days.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the original dick
Yeah.
implant. Also, so there's a couple different ways. Oh, you can get like a tube that you put in
Right.
that'll give you up to 2.5 inches.
Right.
Now, this all runs you about 15 grand.
Now all these are all cosmetic, not medical, right? Because like there's medical implants too. There's the snap and there's the pump and there's all these things just to get it up.
Yeah, like for ED.
Yeah.
No, I don't think BD is for ED.
Okay.
Right? Bile dick does not
Right.
cure
No, that's-
erectile
yeah.
dysfunction. But yeah, these are all cosmetic for like if you feel like you got a little hammer, you
Right.
want to add a little something to it. Now, the thing that I came up with is like how much honesty is there in a dick doctor? Because this guy who is his entire job is handling hammers and, making them bigger. Now, when you walk into the office, you say, "Hey, doc, I've been living my life, and I just don't have the confidence that I should have. Like, I feel less than.
Right.
I always feel like I'm never satisfying the women in my life.
Right.
And it's just, I need some help here." And the doc says, "All right, pull that thing out." You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's see what you're working with.
Yeah.
Now-
I see what the problem is.
Now, right now,
I don't see what the problem is.
Now-
That's the problem.
Now, You pull out a solid 8.5 inches.
Right.
Now, does the doctor say to you, like, oh, yeah, I understand. You're right. We're going to get you fixed up. We're going to add another 2. You know, we're going to pull a little fat off of your butt cheek and put it in, you know, right up under the shaft there and help you out? Or is he going to be honest with you and hit you with the, like, listen, Bo, you're 3 times the size of what I'm working with.
Right.
You're good. This is not something you need.
You need to go to classes.
What kind of honest? You're already dealing with, like, I already think that if a doctor decided that he wanted to be a dick enlargement doctor, a DED,
right,
that you're already dealing with a guy who's, I'm not going to say that his morals are, you know, sideways or questionable, but they're a little bit off color, I think.
See, now how about I have it as a completely different thing? Like I find that, in my mind, that
heartwarming.
Well, it can be extremely noble. Like your decision was, I want to go into a field that will help men, and this is the thing that men for the eternity have focused on. And I feel like I can be a person who can contribute to someone's mental health. Now, in that regard, and with your question, I obviously have no dealings with a doctor of this nature, so I don't know.
You haven't seen your doctor in a few years?
But I can...
after the procedure, you haven't had to see him?
I poked him in the eye once, and that's that. He doesn't want me back.
Yeah.
I'm going to compare it, even though it has no real relation. I'm going to compare it to what bariatric surgeons do.
What is a bariatric surgeon?
So bariatric surgeons are the ones who do, like, the stomach staples and the ties and things like that to have you lose weight dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And you can bet that there are, like, especially women, unfortunately, like, who are like 7 pounds overweight who are begging the doctor for this surgery.
Right.
And in almost all cases, a proper doctor, an appropriate doctor, will tell them to see a psychiatrist/psychologist first and talk this over with them, and then after the sessions, then come back to him with the findings. Because I don't want to cut you open in any regard just because you have a bad self-image, because the end result is still going to be you with a bad self-image and a big bill. So there can be a level of nobility to this if they do it appropriately, but TV has taught me that there are doctors who will just do it for the bucks.
Right.
And then in that case, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you can lie. Like, someone plops 9 inches on the table.
You pull out a fucking...
You can't bullshit about it, but you can give them statistics, right? You can say, well, you're in the top 8%. I can get you in the top 1% if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can still... You don't have to. That's.
You can still make the sale,
right?
You can still make the sale without having to like
negging
throw your morals to the wind. Wouldn't you need to add extra skin to add length? Because when you're completely hard, just usually your skin stretched to the max. It makes sense, right?
As any
but
fat person can tell you, skin stretches.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty elastic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your peen is pretty elastic. Yeah. There's a lot of elasticity. You ever see the Australian dudes who make penis puppetry? They do some amazing things with their testicles and their peen.
The people with the giant hoops in their ears that open up the earlobes and things like that.
Yeah, like that's a way easier solution, right? Yeah. Just tie a dumbbell to the tip of your dick.
Well, there are
that's got to stretch you out at least a couple of, depending on the weight, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to start light.
So
you want to start with maybe a 2.5 pounder
padlock.
Okay.
A padlock.
That's too late. I don't think it's going to do anything.
You don't.
All right, tell us what you did. Tell us how you went through the process.
I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I'm going to tell you what worked.
Okay.
You do the padlock because it's something that if you're going to approach it in that manner, you have to keep this thing on all the time.
Yeah.
Because with any of it, with any of the dick pills, with any of the surgeries, the minute you stop having hard-ons or tending to it, you're going to revert back to what you were. So you don't want to put 2.5 pounds on there, 3 pounds on there, because you have to walk around with that all day.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to work out very well.
But also,
especially if you make a sudden move.
Yeah. Also, I think that like if you're walking around with a flaccid piece,
right,
with a weight tied to the bottom of it,
around on it.
Like it's really only the flaccidity that you're going to get length with. Once you get some blood flow, you're not going to have the same situation.
No, and that's a big thing with a lot of those pills is like that. Oh, adds 1 inch in a month, but that's to your flaccid dick. That really doesn't do much for your erect dick. It's for people who are showers and not or growers and not showers and that want to be showers.
I'll tell you what my mom told me
about your dick.
Yeah. So one day when I don't know, I must have been like 13 or 14, and my mom's got a pretty sick sense of humor.
Sure.
All right. So I don't even know how it came up. But she was joking about, like, well, did it get any bigger since you were born or something like that, right? And I'm like, shut up, Mom.
It's going for your throat.
And so she's like, well, the only way that it gets bigger is if you pull on it.
Using it. Yeah.
And I'm like, Ma, shut up. But you're damn right that I went upstairs and started pulling on it just
away.
to see if
Yep.
it fucking worked,
Yep.
you know? It didn't.
No,
It's been the same size since I was born.
pretty much.
So that is what it is.
Elevator button.
In the fucking vein of cosmetic surgery,
Sure,
right? Here's
sure.
what I kind of took notice to this week.
Okay.
I think the majority percentage of fake butts look way too weird. There's no real attraction to them. Like, I think that because a lot of the time, right, a girl has to be properly proportioned, right? Now, I say this, and I feel like I'm pretty much an expert on a great butt.
Okay.
My wife has me because she is probably the greatest butt that I've ever seen in my life. So it was really love at first gawk,
Okay.
right? As soon as I laid my eyes on her, I knew that was for me.
Right.
So I fancy myself a butt man and an expert. And I saw something this week, right, on YouTube, like YouTube Shorts. I don't do TikTok, but I will watch YouTube Shorts.
Right.
Okay,
That's totally different. Yeah.
That's my shortcut. Well, I told you I don't want the Chinese in my phone.
I don't think the Chinese own TikTok anymore.
I don't want the fucking Chinese watching my every move.
They're
bro.
in your phone. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They made your phone. Forget the software. They made your phone.
But this girl got a butt implant, right? But she was like, 110 pounds, and then she's got this Nicki Minaj ass on top of a couple of twigs, and it's like, it looks so unrealistic. Like, you got to do it right. Like, if you're going too hard, so the butt looks weird. So, because you can look at it and you say, like, there's something that's not right about that, right? Automatically off the rip, you could tell that it's a fake butt or it's ill proportioned or whatever it is, to the point where it's just kind of an automatic turnoff. And then after I noticed saw this one video or whatever, every fake butt started to look like that ill-proportioned fake butt.
Can't unsee it.
No.
So I agree 100%. And I myself, I do fancy myself an ass man as well.
Okay.
I recognize that, there's a variability in what you find a good ass and what I might find as a good ass. And that aside, I think the problem with the ass implants in general is that, like, in comparison to the breast implants, you can play with the pectoral muscles and you can put the implants in certain places where it's got a nice, let's call it a slope.
Yeah.
It starts, at the shoulders and there's a slope outwards.
Realistic slope.
I've never, right. If the doctor's good enough at it, yeah. I've never seen butt implants that appear naturally, like they just jut out from where they are, and so they look like they're not part of the body. They look like it's something stuffed in the pants, and I've never seen it otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. The butt implants are not.
I mean, even with breast implants, like
they can be bad. I'm not saying they.
Yeah.
But they can.
But
also,
they're not as bad. Overall, they're not as bad. Like, the majority of butt implants are just not.
I've never seen one like I don't imagine that I've ever been fooled by butt implants.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that person has butt implants, and oh, that person doesn't, and I've never been wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're so obvious, and they're always like, I don't think there's like a subtle option because that's.
Seems like they're always huge.
They're always huge because in my mind that's strictly, like, breast implants can be not just cosmetic. Like, you had a mastectomy and now you need breast implants because you're uncomfortable. So there's other reasons to do breast implants. So there's good reason to hone the art and perfect it.
Yeah.
The butt implants, there's not like
only cushion for pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody's really good at it, and it's very obvious.
Yeah. Remember a few years back, there was a lady in Philly who was doing illegal butt implants, and chicks were dying.
Yeah. Like, how
imagine that. You want a butt so bad that you're willing to put your life on the line for it.
People are weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I may have been fooled, because I think if a female gets a butt implant and then does a proper leg workout, has a proper leg routine, then she could sculpt her legs to match the butt. And then at that point, maybe we're fooled because it looks like a matching pair.
So here's my thought. You've never been fooled, and here's why. You don't go into that surgery for a subtle upgrade. You go in to go fucking 10 sizes out.
Yeah.
So they're never going to 10 sizes out from whatever they are.
Is not going to ever
You're
match
never
your legs.
ever going to get that like just honed, just like you. How thick your thighs are going to have to be to make your ass look correct. You're just going to have to be fat.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think you've ever been fooled.
Yeah. I wanted to drink like a gentleman tonight, like I do
Like you do every time.
every time. And so I saw this. I'm a rum chata man. I can't help the fagginess that I am. You know,
I mean,
this is just the way that I was made.
There's not a bottle that says classiness more than that white bottle with the gold lame on it.
I am the epitome of class.
That's right.
You know, I wanted to just have a nice rum chata. This week I saw a YouTube short because I don't watch TikTok because
not.
I don't want the Chinese
Right.
in my phone.
Right.
And I saw a gentleman who made a rum chata and fireball, which I once was a fan of and a heavy drinker, but I stopped putting the fireball in because I would get too hammered drunk, and it was overkill. You know,
too much.
I found that I like just the rum chata by itself more. And so this guy shook up a rum chata and fireball, and then poured it over an espresso ice cube,
Right.
which as soon as I saw it, I called my wife and said, "Hey, babe, I need you to, as soon as you can, put some
Whip up some
espresso,
espresso, get the
and
ice
put it
maker.
in the ice maker because I want one of those when I get home." So I got home late, and I did not have one of those, but I do have one now, and I was just going to pour rum chata over these espresso ice cubes, and then here comes the fucking kid with the golden digits, and he drops 5 nips of fireball on the table,
Yeah, I didn't want you to overdo it.
trying to fucking ruin me. So let's see how ruined I get over the next hour or two.
That sounds good. So that guy, you sent me that video, and
He's from Jersey, that
Yeah,
guy.
and
Johnny Drinks.
he's got a great channel.
Yeah.
And I know you don't do the TikTok. I understand, and I'm not trying to push you that way. But his whole channel is either him showing you how to make different cocktails, which is always good, or his son asking him, like, I don't know how to phrase it, but like manly life questions. Hey, Dad, how do I iron a dress shirt? And then
Class.
and
He's
then,
trying to.
yeah,
He's
you know what?
he's showing
Perfect.
class.
All
He's
class.
teaching you to be a gentleman.
He sat in the closet and showed him how to polish a dress shoe.
Yeah.
He showed him how to iron, how to tie a tie. Like
Yeah.
that channel, when I pass away, I'm giving my son the link to that channel so that guy can teach him all the things that I haven't gotten the opportunity to.
All the classy things that are necessary. Those are all things
Yeah.
that my dad has taught me, actually. I learned to shine shoes. I've never shined a pair of shoes. I have incessantly and obsessively cleaned my sneakers.
Right.
But dress shoes, I have never shined a pair of dress shoes. I have one pair of kind of dress shoes. They're like a cross between a boot. Yeah, I seen that. There was a doctor in Florida who was putting cement mix and caulk into girls' butts, and she ended up getting
Dead.
a thing 10. I can't read the rest of the message. But
Well, concrete is exothermic, so he basically put something that's going to burn her from the inside
yeah,
out.
yeah. You got fucking lye under your skin.
Yeah.
It's just going to start eating away at your fucking skin and muscle.
Just to get a bigger ass. I don't know. Just eat some fucking cheesecake. It should work.
You know what I mean? Do a couple squats.
Yeah.
But look, I understand because I see the way that some girls of ethnic backgrounds look at my wife with envy,
Right.
you know? So I could understand. I see the envy and the jealousy that comes across women's eyes, and like how much their heart yearns for a
Sure.
shapely figure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get it a little bit,
All
I
right.
guess. I don't know. I don't think putting your life on the line is the thing to do. But yeah, so Johnny Drinks taught me this drink. I like it. He does have a good channel. He's a classy gentleman.
Absolutely.
He's from New Jersey.
Well, goes without saying.
Yeah. And as soon as I watched the video,
You know.
I'm like, this guy seems like he's from fucking Jersey. And then I did a little research. Real quickly, I found out he's from Jersey.
You know, that's an interesting thing. I flip through a lot of TikTok, a lot of random stuff just to see what's what. And I swear to you, whether it be the person's actions or even just like the scenery behind them, I can pick out almost every person that's from Jersey. Like, I guess from living here, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, I'm talking about people from North Jersey that I've never seen where they live before. But like, they walk outside, I'm like, oh, that's somewhere in Jersey. There's no fucking
It's got a
question
feel.
about it.
It usually has a feel.
It just has this hint to it.
Sometimes you can get thrown off, though,
Yeah.
and you're in Maryland.
There is a little Maryland and obviously a little New York sometimes. Like you're like Staten Island, Long Island
Yeah.
areas can throw you off.
Yeah, like Staten Island, kind of. There's probably neighborhoods in Staten Island that look kind of like North Jersey neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know, the Passaics and
Right.
the Cliftons and the North Bergens and those kind of spots.
Right.
I thought about it, right?
Okay.
And we've discussed plenty of times how I want to keep my eye also over here
C to the OV.
just to make sure that
Welcome to the gig.
I'm on
You're
my
late for
soundboard
work.
the
Yeah.
way I should
Let's
be.
get
I
it.
don't think the live can hear my soundboard,
No.
but that's all right. When you watch the replay on YouTube,
You're
you'll be
gonna
able
love
to hear the sound effects. I've mentioned plenty of times doing time with Ray Santiago
Okay.
at the Trenton Rescue Mission. I think Ray was coming home from upstate and I was coming in from the county and we had crossed paths. And Ray's solid dude. You know what I mean? Like you run into some solid guys in the joint, without a doubt. And Ray has always been a solid one. But anyway, so at that time, while I was in the Trenton Rescue Mission, I discovered podcasting. Right?
Okay.
And I've given the credit to the guys at Hood Hype, The Basement,
Right.
and Rosenberg. And for whatever reason, it has continuously slipped my mind that there's another huge influence in the podcasting world, and that was Combat Jack.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if Juan Epp and Rosenberg came before Combat Jack or if they were after, but those were kind of the two first hip-hop podcasts to hit the map.
They're all very interwoven. I think Star and Buck Wild used to have a podcast after their radio show, but there's a couple that originate around that time period and came out of there surprisingly successful for the era.
Star does a live now, kind of a live radio show, a live YouTube radio show, kind of what we're doing here.
I haven't checked into them in a while, but they were always great when I would listen to them. And I think they used to write for The Source too, and everything they wrote in The Source was really great.
Yeah, no, Star has been actually. I remember probably around 8. I've always been into radio in one format or another, right? And around 18 or so, Star was in Philly on Power 99. Mm-hmm. He had a brief stint over there, and me and Smoke Dog used to listen to him on the way to work.
I think he got booted from there. I think it was.
I'm sure he got booted from most places that he worked. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that every radio station that Star worked at
fired him.
He was terminated. That he never left on his own accord. That he was always terminated. But that's why you gotta love him, because he's gonna fucking do him.
Balling out.
Yeah, Star's gonna do his own thing, and you're not gonna be able to quell that fucking monster, the hate. You're not gonna be able to quell the hate of the hater.
No.
You know. So, but Combat Jack, who passed, I know he passed away like relatively recently, in the past few years.
Yeah.
Kind of was one of these first names who was pulling like big hip hop artists in to do podcasts. And I remember listening, through episodes upon episodes upon episodes of Combat Jack because it was something, I had my iPad or whatever. Kamikaze Bass. Oh, the Jedi just came. Listen to this one. This was before any podcasts. This was before listening to Star on the radio, when we were about we must have been 13 or 14, right?
Okay.
We used to listen to the Camden County College radio station, right?
Yeah.
Like,
DJ
90
Wheels used to be the DJ there. Yeah.
I don't remember the DJ. But they had I know that they had like an underground hip hop show. They had like a drum and bass show. They had like a freestyle. They had
everything.
They had everything that you weren't getting in other spots on the radio.
Right.
And there was some kind of certain appeal that it reached out to me, and I wanted to listen to it every day. I wanted to listen to what was on fucking Camden County radio. And that in turn bled out into my homeboys who I was hanging out with.
Right.
Like we all started kind of listening to it. Like I think at one point we would sit in my boy Steve Kelly's shed or his garage, with a fucking transistor radio like it's 1953
Sitting
and we're
on
listening to
sitting on
doo-wop
upside-down
on a
buckets.
fucking crate on a corner, in fucking, the South Bronx or some shit. Like we were living
On the
in the
stoop.
fucking Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
So they had this drum and bass show. I wish I could remember the DJ's name. Maybe it was your fucking DJ you're talking about. I don't know. DJ Wheels?
I'm trying to think if the time frame lines up, but he was the DJ on there at some point, and I listened to him a lot. And he has a mixtape, and I can probably dig it up. And all he did was, I forget what song he started with, but basically he would play the song up until the point where it said something that had been sampled in another song, and then he would do the cut into that next song, and he chained it for 90 minutes. He had a chain that went 90 minutes long of just flipping
pretty
through.
skillful.
It was pretty cool.
But he was doing hip hop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was straight hip hop, not
No,
not
well,
drum
this
and
was
bass or
this
anything.
was the drum and bass show. Well, also, whatever the hip hop show was, before I get to the drum and bass thing, whatever the hip hop show was, we used to call in, right? Because this was the only radio station that you didn't get a busy signal when you tried to
Right.
call, right? You
Right.
could try and call Power 99, but
luck.
the rest of the city was
Yeah.
trying to call them too, so you could never get through.
You calling it 3 a.m. That's your only shot.
But we would call into fucking 91.7 or 91.5, whatever it was,
Right.
and just talk to the fucking DJs. We'd be like, yo, it's the Lakes boys. Give us a shout out. And they'd be like, yo,
Okay.
shout out to the Lakes boys listening over there in the lakes. We appreciate you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so one day we fucking called them, me, SP, and Smoke, and we talked to them, and they said something to us that made us think that they were telling us to come down to the station, right?
They give you like the really cordial, love to meet you guys sometime. And
Well,
you're
I
like,
don't
oh, it
e-
means now.
I don't know what they said to us, but we're like, well, fuck it. Let's get on our bikes. We got to ride to Camden County College now. So we rode about 3 or 4 miles.
From Washington Township?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not wild far.
No.
It wasn't out of our range of places that we would ride. It was in the longer side of
Yeah.
rides that we would take, but
you,
not.
You had to take 42 to get there, didn't you?
No, we could cut down like through Lakeland through the
Oh,
back
okay.
way. We had
have
back
bikes,
ways
yeah.
everywhere, yeah. So we ride down there, and then we're riding around the fucking campus looking for a radio station. We have no idea what a radio station looks like. We
Just
didn't
look
even
for
think
the antenna, boys.
we didn't even think to look for the antenna. And we're riding around. We asked like the security guard, like, "Hey, where's the radio station at?"
Right.
He's like, "Oh, it's over there." And we fucking walk down the basement of a building, and these people are just sitting in front of a board, and we're like, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey.
They're like,
Fuck you.
"What's up? What are you doing here?" I'm like, we're the Lakes boys, man. We just talked to you on the phone. They're like, oh, shit. And they thought it was hilarious
Right.
that we showed up. They're like, I wish we had something to give you. Y'all want some popcorn?
Yeah.
And they handed us a bag of popcorn.
All right.
And then
Still
we kept
have
it
You
moving.
got it on the shelf back there?
I don't. No,
the
I
Lake,
don't.
The Lake Boys.
I don't, but I
popcorn?
have this new fucking cigar box.
I saw that. It's a nice looking cigar box.
Lunatic. Huh? How about that? So they give us some popcorn, but this guy was down there behind these giant mixing boards hanging out with like 2 hot chicks.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, of course he's got hot
The
chicks.
DJ always
He's a
gets
fucking
chicks.
radio guy.
Yeah.
You know? There was another show that was this drum and bass show that we would listen to, and it was a drum and bass show that was maybe called the drum and bass show, or it was nameless. So
They weren't super original down there.
no, so they were looking for a name, right? And so we called in with like fucking 30 names, and the Jedi was like, yo, we should call it Kamikaze Bass. We're like, all right, fuck it, call them again, right? And so we call them again and hit them with Kamikaze Bass, and they were like, oh, I like that. And so from then on, the drum and bass show was known as Kamikaze Bass.
Kamikaze Bass. You did
We
it.
named the fucking show. So I've been involved in radio for a very long time,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to tell you
You've
here
always
with this
been on
one.
the creative side of things.
Where the beginning of that story started, I'll never know.
With Ray Santiago, you saw his name pop up again, and then you wanted to talk about.
This is why we need the live.
Right.
The live is the thing that fucking keeps me moving.
We'll
you
figure
know?
it out. I promise.
Yeah.
Just give me a couple more years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but this part, right? We talked about this. This part is not us. This is that you can't bring them on to the live for some reason, irrespective of our technology.
Well, really, we're going to have to fucking spend enough. Didn't they give us a Hershey Park tickets? Maybe they did.
You guys won the tickets, and
It's
it wasn't
po-
even a contest.
No, we might have got Hershey Park tickets for naming the show Kamikaze
okay.
Bass.
That was your payment.
No, the other time wasn't a contest. That was me, SP, and Smoke just rode our bikes up there for the hell of it.
Gotcha.
Did we ride our bikes up there, Jedi, to meet that dude? I don't remember. The fucking dude from Kamikaze. I would love to find out where the dude from Kamikaze Bass is now. There's no way. There's no way. You could fucking type all the things you want into that little computer over there. There's no way you're going to find out who the DJ for Kamikaze Bass was and what he's doing now. But good luck with it.
Yeah, I see what you're doing.
Because I was talking about Combat Jack. That's all.
Right.
Anyway, Combat Jack was an influence. Kamikaze Bass was a big influence.
Right.
Star and Buck Wild. Who else did I? Oh, and Charlemagne. I like Charlemagne when Charlemagne was just like a helper. He was Wendy Williams' helper on the morning show. And I couldn't stand Wendy Williams. Even when I was fucking 10, 11 years old, I knew that I didn't like Wendy Williams. I don't know why. I didn't understand that everybody didn't like her, but I can't stand that bitch.
No, she's not that any gossip-driven person is really a good person anyway, but she's like one of those people who has a lot to say about a lot of people, but doesn't have her own shit together at all.
Well, she's making a whole gang of paper.
That doesn't mean. I mean, most of the people she's dishing gossip on are also making a whole bunch of paper too.
She does have a pretty popular midday show on a huge syndicated network.
But
let's not say she doesn't have her shit together.
No,
maybe she sucks at being a person.
You can be rich and not have your shit together. You
can't be that rich and not have your shit together.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
I beg to differ.
So she's the.
I don't care what you're doing. If you're that rich, you got your at least most of your shit together.
Just because you picked the right time. Look,
you might be a shit
Jerry
person.
Springer's a mess, and he's a fucking rich person too.
I would never say Jerry Springer doesn't have his shit together.
He's not the mayor of Cleveland or Cincinnati anymore because he bought a hooker with a check from public funds. That's a man who doesn't have his shit together.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, anybody who can have that many people chanting your name, you got your shit together. If you can get a whole room of rednecks chanting your name, like you're either Jerry Springer or you're Trump.
Like Chris Farley or John Belushi, they didn't have their shit together either.
I feel like they did. I feel like they did.
They
like to party.
overdoses.
Yeah, they like to party, man. They just like to party.
All right, so I'll spin it this way. She seems like the kind of person who can dish it but can't take it. How about that?
I think that's a fair assessment. Okay. But I remember when Charlemagne was her helper, and I remember liking Charlemagne.
Yeah.
And now I like Charlemagne less the older I get. But I also respect them. Yeah. Without a doubt, I have a massive amount of respect for the way he was able to kind of build himself into what he is.
He caught his wave, and he's just been riding that wave, which is like a I like it, I don't like it kind of thing. Like he's exactly who he was 5 years ago because 5 years ago that worked perfectly. Yeah. So he's just stuck with it.
Yeah. I used to listen to both the podcasts. He has Brilliant Idiots with Schultz. And no, never mind. I'm thinking Schultz, both of Schultz's podcasts.
Oh, no, he's
right.
in Flagrant 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Charlemagne has another podcast, at least one other podcast. But I used to listen to Brilliant Idiots on a weekly basis, but I've kind of grown away from it as of late. I tried to watch it the other day, and it just didn't grab me.
Now that you're doing better stuff than them, it's hard to go back and punch down and watch stuff like that.
Yeah, I like Schultz. I think Schultz is fucking pretty funny.
He's okay. He's okay. I listened to Flagrant 2 a decent amount, and it's an enjoyable show.
Again, if nothing else, you got to respect his business acumen and the way he was able to kind of build himself into what he built himself into.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I respect where he's at. I respect how he got there. He's not the funniest guy in the world to me, but he's amusing. He's entertaining.
Yeah. I always respect a guy with a good business acumen.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of business acumen.
And we were.
Yeah. I have a new business to put on the agenda.
On the 7-1 list after loud porn and concentration camp for kids? No, that's not what we're going to call it. What are we going to call it?
At re-education camp.
Re-education camp for kids.
As well as the International Supermarket.
Right.
You forgot about that one.
Yeah, I did forget about that
And the Cadillac converter ring. That's a little bit more of an illegal. That's a little bit of under the table business.
That's why we don't keep bringing that one up.
Still a business nonetheless.
Right.
I'm going to be a vintagifier.
Vintagifier. Okay. I think I see where you're going with this.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So it's popping to buy vintage T-shirts now.
Yes.
Right. Which cool to me, being the freshest kid out here. A vintage T-shirt gets like no
play for you.
No, I
Because
mean,
you're not here to wear something with frayed collars or holes in it and acid wear and things like that.
I have a few T-shirts that I would call. I have one T-shirt that I would call vintage that I really like. It's a Canals softball team T-shirt.
The liquor store?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a black tee and it says Canals and
cursive red.
like softball team or something like that, athletic department, whatever the hell it says. I like it, but it's a work T-shirt to me. I'm not wearing it somewhere. I thought about maybe trying to do the vintage T-shirt thing like out in life.
Okay.
But I don't know if I will or not. Well, that's still on the table. But that's not what this is about. The vintage game is hot right now, right?
It's been for a little bit, yeah.
And people are paying like big bank for vintage T-shirts.
Yeah.
Regardless of the shape that they're in.
Right.
Actually, probably the more well-worn the T-shirt, it may add to the value in specific cases, right?
Depending on the pedigree that you can give the shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you have a Bruce Springsteen shirt that was at a concert in the 80s and here's a picture of me buying the shirt, that's going to be worth a fortune.
Yeah. So I think that in my business model, it's not about where the shirt came from. It's about
where it's going.
Yeah.
I got you.
Also, I told you not to fucking give me this fireball because now, like, I had a half of a fucking cup and I'm loose.
You seem as relaxed as you've been in the show in quite some time. I feel like we're going to get a good story out of you at some point.
I think I'm just going to fucking take a nap right here.
You don't want me taking over the show, trust me.
So, no, not you, ad liberal. We're a down the center show. We're not leaning any which way.
We certainly are not.
We are. I'm showing you down the center. You know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pre-vintageify your T-shirts for you.
Okay.
So you look, because at one time we were at a job site. We climbed up in the attic because we had to put a firewall between the garage attic and the house. We found a box full of Newport Pleasure baseball T-shirts, like with the green sleeve, green collar, white shirt, Newport Pleasure across it. They were fucking dope T-shirts, and I wish I still had a few. I don't. But so now you stumble across something like that. That's worth a few dollars. You could sell them probably, $10, $15 a piece, maybe even 20, maybe 30.
Yeah.
But if you have them pre-vintageified and they're worn in, they might have a little bit of a stain on them. A collar is you got that hole in the armpit right here, right?
Right.
Now it looks like this shirt has really gone through some stuff. Really, the only thing that it's going through is a work week at 7-1 Construction.
Right.
But it's going to look like it has miles on it, adding to the value, and now you're able to sell it for a little bit more. Or you could just you could pay us to vintageify your T-shirt, and then you can get the right wear. Like, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to use us we don't have to have a business relationship where I'm pre-vintageifying T-shirts for you. I could do it on just a one-on-one basis. Like, you have a cool T-shirt. You want it to be a little bit worn looking. You're maybe a white-collar guy who just sits at a computer most of the day. You don't have...
Tired of shopping at the Goodwill for your shirts and things like that, and the consignment shop.
Yeah, you don't have really a way to get a T-shirt the proper wear and tear that you want it to have. You contact us, and then we'll be able to, take care of that for you. You see any problems with this? What do you say? Break me down.
I think it's a solid game plan. I think the only issue you're going to run into is, and it's not really an issue if you do it right, but the only issue you're going to run into is these vintage things kind of like they go very streaky. Not the whole genre, but like what is the thing that people are looking for right now?
Right.
Is very streaky and very hard to predict. So as long as you can keep your costs down to where if you have to dump a bunch of stuff at cost, it'll be easy to do. Then I think you have a good business plan there. It's just a matter of collecting the supplies on the cheap. Like
we're like a subcontractor. We're a contractor,
right?
So we're not. I'm not even.
So you
and I
send
think
me
that's
the
how.
Shirt
Yeah,
and I'll age it out for you. Okay.
I think that's how I keep costs down. Like I'm not going to go buy a whole bunch of shirts and wear them.
Okay.
Although maybe if we're successful, we could branch out and kind of start doing that later on.
Ready to go.
But my thing is more that you drop the shirt off with me for a week. End of the week, I'm going to have a vintage T-shirt for you. This could be a brand new Hanes white tee out of the pack. But by the end of the week, you're going to have that thing properly vintageified.
So then here's the good news on that once it catches on is that because you can technically only do one shirt per week, you're going to be able to charge a fortune because the demand you only need 53 people in 1 year to want to do it, and you can start jacking up the prices.
Well, that's kind of true, but I have a workaround for that.
You don't want to work around.
No, I do.
No.
Listen.
I'm telling you. You don't want to work around. You want to say that you don't have a workaround, so I have to charge you triple. I have to charge you triple the triple.
No. I say that I don't have a workaround. Listen, have you ever known me to do honest business through and through? No, I'm always going to cut a corner here and there.
No, but that's because...
My only honest business is 7-1 Construction.
Well, and 7-1 Moving.
And 7-1 Moving, we're also pretty honest. But outside of that, all of my businesses have an element of shade. And that's because they haven't been brought to fruition yet.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so the shade that's in those businesses is generally about increasing your profits. It's cutting corners, like you said.
Yeah.
So if you get yourself to wear one vintagified, is that what we're calling it?
Vintagifying, yes.
One vintagified shirt is now going for $600-700. You have no more reason to be shisty about it. $700 a week for a year is a real nice side hustle, especially considering, in theory, you're technically absolutely doing nothing for that money.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're just going to go to work and work the job you were going to work anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything, and you're collecting $600-700 a week. You don't need to be shisty and cut corners.
But here's the thing. I can turn that $600-700 a week
right.
into $1,200-1,400 a week in the blink of an eye.
Well, you got people on your job site.
And here's the other thing also, right? Is that I'm going to need other guys to put shirts on because I'm only a large.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I got to meet a customer comes with a medium or a small or they got a
triple
double
X,
X, triple X,
Right.
like we have to be able to service every angle.
You need
as well as being able to service denim and corduroy.
Right.
We specialize in corduroy.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And that's going to be weather oriented too, because like you don't want to be in a denim shirt and corduroy pants in the summer working outside, in the sun. You're going to kill yourself.
Here's the thing: for an extra $1,400 a week, I
do.
think I might not really care.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So basically, I sub out, and it won't be an extra $1,400 because I'm going to take care of the guys who are vintagifying the t-shirts for me.
Right.
And I'm probably only going to take 50% of that profit.
That's
so
fair.
we're looking at like 2 t-shirts. One nets me. If they net me,
one gets you 6, the other gets you 3.
Yeah.
And you've done nothing.
Yeah.
Now you have $900 a week for nothing.
Yeah, and I could keep expanding upon it because I know a lot of guys in this business. Which brings me to the next thing.
Sure.
Is that this morning I realized that I am what you call a certified Home Depot superstar. I showed up to Depot this morning.
Okay.
First, let me tell you this. This week, we built our first successful tiny bathroom. Okay?
Okay.
We turned a closet into a powder room in South Philly.
All right.
Literal 3x3 closet, turned it into a powder room. All right? Not hard, not easy, just what it is.
Was it near the plumbing before you started? Like
the plumbing was already roughed in for us.
Oh, okay.
We still had to run the plumbing. We had to connect to the water lines in the basement, and we had to connect the faucets to the water lines. But everything in the walls was
good
taken care of for us.
I'm assuming in a job like that, where the 3x3 closet already exists, the plumbing is going to be by far the most difficult part of the process.
Well,
if you had to start from scratch.
I will prove you correct because because we ran the plumbing. I wear gloves at work. I'm blaming this all on Gavone.
Smart.
Okay?
Yeah. You don't want to shoulder the blame.
No. I'm blaming it all on Gavone.
Yeah.
I wear gloves.
Because he's not here. It's the right thing to do.
Also, it was his job.
Okay.
This was one of the jobs he pulled in, right?
Okay.
So we're sitting downstairs talking about the plumbing, and I'm like, I'm not like super confident with it, but I guess we'll figure it out. You seem to think that you know what has to happen. Fuck it. Let's do it, right? Let's give it a fucking shot.
Hit me.
So he says, he grabs here. He was like, this one's hot, this one's cold.
Just by feeling the pipes.
I'm like, okay, I'm wearing gloves. I don't know.
Take your word
Take
for
your
it.
word for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Hot, cold, boom, boom.
Mark them.
No. I didn't need to mark them. There's only 2 of them.
Right.
Oh, I do remember Golden Girl, Ray Santiago. She was the late night John. I was heavy on Golden Girl. Well, if you were locked up, you were heavy on Golden Girl because she did the Quiet Storm. Before Golden Girl, it was like an old dude, and I can't remember who it was.
On Power 99 or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like an old dude who he was like fresh out of the 70s.
He had the straight Don Cornelius voice.
Yeah.
We're going to play a little Luther Vandross for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So get with your
This
loved
next
one.
We got the Love Lockdown calls coming in next. Yeah, Golden Girl did Love Lockdown. So all these dudes who are locked up, their girlfriends would call into Golden Girl.
Right.
And be like, hey, Golden Girl, my man locked up in Trenton State. He doing a 5 to 10. I just want to let him know, baby, I love you.
I love
and
you
the
and I'm waiting
commissary,
for you.
I promise you, the commissary going to be there next week. Things was a little tight this week, but next week you're going to have your honey buns. So, yeah, Golden Girl was a thing. I do remember her. Anyway, so the plumbing, that's hot, that's cold. Cool, I got you, Mike. You go work on, he was doing the framing upstairs. I'll take care of the plumbing down here. Hook it all up. Boom, we do the bathroom. Thursday afternoon, we're like, we're just going to finish this thing. We worked till 7 o'clock to knock it out so we could have the day off today on Friday. As we're pulling out, as I'm putting in the toilet, I notice that hot water is coming into the toilet. I'm like,
well, that's not good.
I fucking hooked this thing up wrong. Like, I put the hot on the fucking...
Maybe they asked for the bidet.
No. So the fucking hot's hooked up to the cold's hooked up to the hot. And I tell Mikey this as we're like loading the truck up. I'm like, yo, you told me that this was hot and this was cold, and now we fucking have a problem. We got hot water going into the toilet. That's no good.
Right.
He was like, yeah, fuck. What are we going to do? I said, well, when they call us, we're going to fix it, Whatever. We're going to let them find out, and they'll call us and fucking fix it. He's like, all right. And so he hops in his truck and leaves. I'm sitting in my truck trying to put something on the radio so that I could drive home from South Philly. And this 85-year-old man comes wobbling out of his house yelling at me, Sean! I put my window down. I'm like, oh, this can't be good.
Right.
Like, what's up, Don? He was like, did you mean to hook the hot water up to the toilet? So now I had to act like I didn't know. I'm like, oh, shit. Nah, Don, I didn't, man. He was like, oh, okay. And he's just looking at me. I'm like, look, we'll either be here tomorrow or Saturday. Let me call Mikey and see what he wants to do. So I call Mikey. I'm like, look, we could go Saturday, but I'm not working Saturday, which means you got to do it by yourself.
Right.
Or we could come do it tomorrow and I'll come with you. He was like, well, I could just do it Saturday. I'm like, nah, you know what? Fuck it. Don't worry about it. Let's just do it tomorrow. If you don't want to come tomorrow, that's fine, but I'll fucking knock it out.
Just go in the morning, get it done. It's not a difficult thing at that point, right? You're basically crossing some flex pipes.
Some PEX
right?
pipes. Yeah, I mean, it probably took us maybe an hour.
Took you longer to get there than to actually fix it.
Yeah, and we had to go to the plumbing supply, but the plumbing supply was literally 1 block over. Okay. So we fucking went there. We looked at what we needed to do. We walked to the plumbing supply. We came back. But before that,
you're the Home Depot superstar.
Before that, I wasn't supposed to work today. Right? Was my original thing. We were gonna have the day off.
Got fired on your day off.
Yeah.
Stealing boxes.
What you
trying to build a
clubhouse? Boxes for? Take these fucking shoes off. Get comfy.
There you go. Put your feet up. Don't put your feet up. You'll knock the camera over.
And so I go to Depot to pick up the PEX and whatnot this morning.
Right.
And I have to add some oil to the truck, so I'm in the automotive section. And I hear, yo, Covalicious. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting one. I haven't heard that one.
I haven't heard that in a while.
I don't think I've ever heard that one. I turn and look, and it's my buddy Bobby, who I know, right? So I stop. I chat with Bobby for a minute. I'm like, all right, bub, let me go. I got to go do my thing. He was like, oh, Rashid's out in the truck. I haven't seen Rashid in ages.
Dog's age.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll see him outside. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I walk out to the truck. Rashid is in the truck right there.
Right.
And he doesn't know I'm inside. So I'm walking over to the truck. Before I even see him, I hear, yo, Cove. I'm like, oh, it's Rashid. I'm like, oh, what's happening?
I heard you were out here.
Yeah, I just seen Bobby inside. So he's sitting there talking to me. Then fucking as I'm talking to Rashid, Fat Keller comes driving past, yelling, "Yo, Cove!"
Look at this.
I'm like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Having a class reunion at the Home Depot.
Yeah. And then as fucking Fat Keller's like, "I'm gonna park up." I'm like, "All right, I'm right here."
Fantastic.
Yeah. So as Fat Keller parks up, here comes Gav walking down. He's like,
Look at
"Oh,
that.
what's up, guys?" Like, "Oh, what's happening?" "Gav, this is Rashid.
like a-
Rashid, this is Gav. Oh, and that's Keller. Keller, this is Rashid. Bobby's inside. He'll be out. Here comes Bobby walking out
Right.
with his stuff." I'm like,
It's like a Saturday Night Live skit.
if I wasn't here, none of these guys would have had any bit of a conversation
You're
with
the
each
center
other.
of the universe.
I am the glue that brings people together.
That's right.
And at Home Depot, it happens more often than not.
Well, because they sell a lot of glue there.
What happened last week? An old. We'll call him we could call him a friend or a nemesis of the show.
Oh, okay.
Take your
Hey,
pick.
he's not a nemesis to me.
I think you're a nemesis to him, though.
I understand and I respect his position, but I have no animosity towards him.
I know you don't, but he will create the animosity in his head,
Again,
and therefore.
He's free to do that.
Yeah.
I have no reciprocal feelings.
So the same way that I introduced you and him,
Right.
and then there became an issue.
Right.
I had introduced him to another floor supplier that I know,
Okay.
and there was an issue over there, right?
Okay.
So I haven't seen that floor supply guy, old Simple Charm, since they got into whatever they got into.
Right.
I heard about it. I see Simple Charm at Depot as I'm driving. He's like, "Yo, Sev." He's calling 7-1, right? "Yo,
Yeah,
Sev."
I understood that.
I'm like, "Oh, park up." Right? And I go fucking talk to Simple Charm Justin. And I'm talking to him about this and that and the third. And I'm like, "Look, I heard you had some bullshit with Tommy. I apologize,
Right.
but also I'm sure you're not wrong." Right? Like, I don't know the ins and outs of the story, but I also know Tommy, and I'm pretty sure he was doing something retarded. He was like, "Look, man, I don't know this, that, and whatever." He's like, "I got no problem with him. If I see him, I'll still say hi to him. But other than that, I'm probably
won't
not
do
going to do
business with him.
business with him." I'm like, "Yeah, I hear you. I don't blame you, And so as we're talking, here comes Tommy rolling up.
Perfect.
And I'm like, "Oh,
Now you're
speak of the devil."
Broker in a peace treaty here.
Right. No, I didn't get to, because then Simple Charm's like, "All right, look, man, I gotta get
go.
out of here."
Wife just
I
told
don't
me.
fucking- I don't
got
blame you.
things.
I gotta get to the job site, man. So yeah, I am a Home Depot superstar, and this morning, I always knew that.
This is Deptford Home Depot?
Yeah, but
Okay.
this had solidified it. Deptford is always the one where I see all the guys I know. Although there's been plenty of Home Depots where I run into guys I
Sure.
know. Oh man, we must be on a wild delay
Was somebody just now commenting on
on
Power
T-shirts.
99?
On
okay.
T-shirts, yeah. And
We shouldn't be on any delay at all because you're just going directly live.
maybe our comments are on a delay.
Could be.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna make them look like they've been worn. I'm
Yeah.
gonna vintageify them.
Vintageify. 7-1 vintagification.
I'm gonna
He's got
vintageify
shoes
them.
off.
I'm putting my shoes back on now. I
Oh,
can't
you
function
warming up?
function with my shoes off.
You're supposed to curl your feet into the carpet after you land on the plane.
I can't do it. I feel like a fruitcake with fucking no shoes on. I'm gonna wear them at work
Whoa,
to
careful,
make them look
careful,
more.
careful.
Whoa, come on, pig! What are you doing?
Knocking
here, bro?
over reefs. This is why our stuff doesn't work because you keep knocking shit over.
Look,
It's not me after all.
all right. This is I'm in an abnormal angle here.
I got you. Well, why?
Because I wanted to switch up the camera angle for the live so you could see my fucking curation of
I
fucking
got you.
things.
Off
You know?
the iPad. I got you.
Yeah. So I'm a Home Depot superstar, and it just is something that I've noticed today. But this has been a thread that has carried all through my life, is that I am a man who brings people who would not otherwise ever discuss anything or talk or meet together.
Well, this is a byproduct of that part of your personality where you
talks
just
to
talk to
everybody.
everybody
Yeah.
all the fucking time. I could never be the superstar of Home Depot. I don't even want to fucking walk up to customer service and talk to them if I need to. So this is an end result of you're congenial all the time and you're friendly with everybody, even with the floor guy where you're pretty sure there's probably a little bit of animosity for you because you sent Tommy to him and that caused a problem for him. Still charming and fun enough for that guy to say, you know what, I don't really have a problem with you. Let it all go and let's chat.
Yeah, but if there's a chance that somebody has animosity towards me,
You
if
wanna
it's
hash
like
it
a
out.
slim amount,
Yeah.
like I'm coming right at you.
Yeah.
Like because
and not violently, just like, hey, there's an issue. Let's
no,
talk about it.
let's
Yeah.
fucking iron this out
Yeah.
because I can't walk around having fucking floor suppliers with a
Right.
price on my head.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm in the fucking carpet aisle picking up glue and I get smacked with a carpet kicker upside my head. I need fucking 14 stitches.
That or nobody sells you flooring anymore. Sorry,
Well-
we're all out of everything you just wanted to order. I didn't even tell you. Nope, we're out of it.
Home Depot will always sell you flooring.
Probably.
Any mook can walk in there and get some floor. So
Probably.
yeah. I do a little bit of roofing, right? I try and kind of stay away from it, depending on the job. If it's not a fucking super, if it's not a wild pitch, if it's a real slight pitch on the roof, I'll do it. But I'm not big into the roofing world. I kind of try and stay between the roof and the foundation in the house. But get at me. So we've discussed Marty
Yes.
ad nauseum.
Jesus' right-hand man.
Yeah, solid dude.
Yeah.
I realized that I have another Marty in my life.
You have more than one Marty?
Kind of.
Okay.
This story is a little bit different.
All right.
Okay, so apparently, and I don't, stop me if I told you this one,
Okay.
but somebody else owned this phone number at one point.
Okay, I don't think I've heard this.
Okay, so I get these messages on occasion where people are speaking Spanish to me.
Okay.
Right? Like I'll get like a Spanish text message.
Okay.
In which case, like when that happens, I go to Google
Try
Translate
to see what it is.
and I see what I could do to help out the situation.
Is it about
right?
your El Car Warranty-o?
No, well, last time I got a Spanish text message, somebody was supposed to be picked up at the airport.
Oh, okay.
And I had to explain that I am not who you think I
So
am.
I was going to ask you that. So you wrote back, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know me, bro.
Yeah, I know. I know how you do things.
Yeah,
I was
know
just
me.
wondering because, like, that's something that I actually, for all the I don't want to talk to people I have in me.
Yeah, you got to help
If
out.
I get an errant text that has some sort of urgency to it, I will write back and say, "Hey, look, I'm not who you were trying to reach. So good luck with everything, but don't expect that person to do whatever you
Yeah.
just asked them to do because they don't know."
Yeah, no, I am the type of guy that if I get a random Spanish text message that is just talking to me about Christmas, I will kick back in a Feliz Navidad to you. Hey, Louis G, what's happening? I'm gonna
Keep
see
it on-
Louis.
keep
I'm
it
gonna see
on
Louis
brand.
G. I'm gonna be at Louis G's house. In about a week and some change. I think we're still on schedule for next Monday, Louis, to do
Building
your.
another deck.
No, we are doing.
Now that you do that small decking thing on the front
you
of the
like
house,
that? Yeah.
I did. That was nice.
We're doing a conversion. We're converting Lou's third floor. It's kind of attic-y right now. We're going to turn it into a room. All the way out there on the...
little Cape Cod action.
no, he's got like a townhome. A 3-story townhome.
Okay.
And it's out there like in like fucking Pittsburgh or something.
Oh.
All the way over there on the other side of fucking...
So you're taking a hike. You got
Yeah,
a
I'm going to
4-hour
drive back and forth every day to Pittsburgh.
smart, yeah.
It's like right out... It's closer than Pittsburgh, but not very much.
My record for that trip was just under 4 hours.
Yeah.
From Philly to University of Pittsburgh. Just
Yeah.
under 4.
Yeah, I think he. Yeah, okay. I don't think it'll be that long, but
Oh,
not gonna be that
it should
short.
be a lot longer.
yeah.
I think it's like 309 miles from when you get on the turnpike.
Oh, Lansdale, Pittsburgh. It's all the same thing.
No, actually, it's not.
yeah. They're two counties right next
I
to
feel
each
like
other, aren't
Biz
they?
lives somewhere near Lansdale.
Listen, also, since Lou G's in the building, I will reiterate that today I'm drinking rum chata,
Right.
poured over an espresso ice cube. This is a fucking gentleman's drink, my man.
With a splash of Fireball.
With a splash of Fireball. So if my eyes look a little glassy,
Those are Fireballs.
that's the Fireball Ireball. All right, so I get these messages that speak to me in Spanish on occasion. Sometimes they will call me and speak Spanish to me, and I do my best in my broken Spanglish to tell them I'm not who they think I am. But I also get these messages that always start out, "Hi, Rectoria."
Rectoria. Okay.
Rectoria, like Victoria,
Right, but
with
with
an
an R.
RE at the front.
Right.
And Rectoria is, let me pull it up because I don't want to get the foundation wrong that they're writing me from. The Unemployed Workers United in Arizona. Okay? So the Unemployed Workers United thinks I'm Rectoria, and they continuously text me and ask me to vote on referendums. They asked me to attend internet seminars. Sometimes they just say something like, we're fighting back against Governor so-and-so who ended this and that.
Right.
Can we count on you to support us, to show your support? And so every time I act as if I am Rectoria, obviously. And I say things like, "You have my full allegiance, comrade." We're a comrade in arms. How can we annihilate the competition? Right? Things like this, right? Like in this text thread, I am a militant Democrat. I am a militant, unemployed, Hispanic woman Democrat. I'm taking
a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot.
But this is the cards I was dealt, and I have no choice but to play them.
Do you have I don't know if you're willing to give it. Do you have a phone number?
Let's see.
Just out of curiosity, while you're talking.
346-420-5782.
Okay.
That's Sebastian.
See,
But also, but here's the thing, because that's last time they hit me up, it was Sebastian. Before Sebastian, it was Joyce. Before Joyce, it was Maurizio. Let's see who else hit me. Maurizio. Sometimes I'm really not weird about it, and I say things like, "Sure, I hope I remember to be there when the time comes." Dustin hit me there once. "Hi, Rectoria. It's Stan with the Unemployed Workers United. Our unemployment system is broken, and we need to make sure workers are no longer left behind. That's why we're hosting a UI Know Your Rights virtual workshop on Wednesday. It's time to organize and demand change. Will you join us?" I'm there.
So
as always.
Why do you think it's from Arizona?
I don't think it's from Arizona.
Oh, okay.
That was just the last
Okay.
text. They were talking about suing the governor of Arizona.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because he ended unemployment. So then I also, but I get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
This one was, "Okay, I like to be armed with the facts in case I get into a debate over the topic. We need everyone possible to be educated, militant, and prepared to dismantle the opposition."
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then there's not really, the response was, "Will you stand with us and sign our petition to Congress, Rectoria?" So I get a kick out of this.
That's
I am
a weird name.
I've never heard the name
So
Rectoria.
apparently, it's the Spanish word for rectory, where nuns live.
Okay, so
So,
that makes sense.
I don't know,
A lot of Central American Spanish are heavily. I
understand, but,
Latin culture as a whole is very religious.
Absolutely, but I don't know any. The bleed over would be an American woman named Convent, and I've never heard of this as a first name. Before.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
To be named after a nunnery.
Right.
Yeah, a white woman named Nunnery.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Nunnery O'Flanagan.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it would be. They'd be Irish.
An Irish girl named Nunnery O'Flanagan. Fucking, what's the place where the rectory is where the priests live.
The rectory is where the priests are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting name. But so I am, again, who knows who knows what might come of this, because with Marty, we've built a friendship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I may actually wind up being like the fucking...
Do you think...
the chief advisor to the Unemployed Workers United Fund. At least the comptroller.
You're gonna be their union boss.
Yeah. This might be an opportunity. This is why you never know what's an opportunity
Always
for
yes
fucking
and.
anything. Yeah. Either if it's not an opportunity for me to get a couple of dollars or further myself,
Right.
at least it's an opportunity for entertainment
Yeah.
of myself,
Of
you know?
course.
Because I get a kick out of being Rectoria.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Do you think Marty knows that you're friends, or do you think Marty just like is happy that you don't flat out push him away so he keeps up with his agenda?
I don't think Marty knows how much I think he's my friend.
Well, no, right. I it's not a one-sided relationship, but I think you're way more into this than Marty is.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just like, well, here's a guy who's not just saying go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stay on top of this, and you're like, hey, it's my buddy Marty. I want to see what he's up to today.
Yeah. No, I think Marty probably. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that if this was a friendship that played out in real life,
Right.
I'd be the guy who every weekend faithfully would say, "Hey, Mart, you want to meet me at the bar on Friday?"
Right.
And Mart would be the guy who every weekend would say, "Hey, man,
Sorry.
I got the
busy.
kids. Yeah, sorry.
I can't make it.
Yo, but listen, maybe next week."
Right.
And then I would
Keep
take
in
that,
touch.
and then I would take that as,
I
next
gotta
week
check
he
next
definitely,
week.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
to check on it. And then I would just wind up being heartbroken, but I'm too dumb to be heartbroken, and I get too much of a kick
You're too
out of fucking
encouraged,
with Marty. Yeah. I like Marty too much to give up on the friendship.
He writes back, and that's all you need.
Yeah. Sometimes, did I tell you this? Sometimes I just type in a random number,
Just see what happens.
and I just say things like, "Hey, just so you know, the world is yours, and you could do anything that you
Anything
want."
Good luck tomorrow.
And then they're like, "I think you got the wrong number." And then I'm like, "No, this is the right number. I know that you can be whatever you want to be, and Jesus loves you," or something, you know what I mean? Whatever.
there was a stand-up comedian, I think it was Tig Notaro, and she said, one thing I like to do is I will send to one of my friends just randomly, I will send them a text, and it just says, my ETA is about 7 minutes, with no context and no nothing else. And just think about the rest of the time them spending flipping through emails and texts,
To
trying to
figure
figure out where we're supposed to be and what
Yeah.
we were up to. So you should start shooting those texts out there. I'll be there in 9 minutes. I'll honk when I'm there. The fuck you talking about?
Yeah. I'm a freedom fighter.
In what capacity?
Well, I've been a freedom fighter since the 5th grade.
Okay.
Okay. And let me tell you why. I haven't went to battle in many, many, many years. Actually, I don't think I've ever went to battle for the freedom and the rights of the United States since 5th grade.
Okay.
But
In 5th grade, what is the
damn,
freedom
I
that
gotta
you were
pee
fighting?
so bad.
Oh Christ.
I got no choice. I gotta hold it.
Yeah. You got to be a man about this for once.
I mean, I could bring him. I could bring the live to the bathroom.
I'm
But
almost done with my cup.
I'm just gonna pee myself. Fuck it.
Smart. You've had fucking not even a whole one of these yet.
I know, but I did drink a half. Now that one hasn't gotten empty yet. Is
Right.
what's happened.
Well, no, I
yeah,
understand that.
that glass hasn't gotten emptied, but it also has been filled up 3 times.
And you never put the fireball in it.
I did.
No.
Yeah.
Would you put like a splash?
Just a little bit. That's what I'm telling you.
You just wanted the cinnamon.
Yeah, I just want a little taste of cinnamon. I can't put too much, bro. I'm gonna be fucked up. You know
Well,
what
I
I
think
mean?
we're past that now. It's time to do the fireball.
Listen, Fridays.
I have to
Friday's
drive
a
home,
big
not you.
night for me.
I know.
No, but I gotta go sling hammer. So
Well,
you know
yeah,
what I mean.
sure.
I can't get too drunk.
Yeah. Nothing better than scheduled sex.
Yeah. No, I mean it's my Friday night.
Yeah,
dog.
no,
I'm
I
partying.
understand.
So in 5th grade, I fought for the pride of America, and I don't think
So,
that I have since.
Remind me again, real quick. What year are you in 5th grade? Just so I have some context.
1996.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is a pre 9/11 era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it was cool to be a freedom fighter.
Right, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I was on the cutting edge
Yeah,
of
you were-
fighting
you were
for
way out in
America's
front of
freedom.
things.
Yeah. So me and Smoke Dog were on the same bus. And you know, many of my stories revolve around the hijinks that me and Smoke Dog
Sure.
get ourselves into. So we were on the bus, and our bus, like our neighborhood, kind of got shipped like to a school. We had to like pass 2 or 3 schools to get to
your
our
school.
school because they had it all fucked up,
Yeah.
right? So we also went to some other neighborhoods that were like, our bus was not just our neighborhood. It was like a bunch of fucking neighborhoods all over the place. Now, at some point during the year, there was a new student, right?
Okay.
A gentleman by the name of Talal Khan.
Okay.
Talal Khan was a gentleman who came from Pakistan, to come to America. And he spoke pretty decent English, and everything started out okay.
Okay.
All right? Talal was fine. We had no beef with him, right? We weren't best buds, but he was on the bus with us, so he was involved in some conversations and shit like that. And at some point, he started talking about his state gun, my state gun,
Okay.
which we took to mean maybe like some kind of weapon,
Yeah.
right?
Because you're 5th grade, so you don't.
Yeah, so whatever a state gun is,
Right.
I'm not really sure. But he said that he was going to get his state gun and shoot us all, right?
Okay.
I don't remember the catalyst for this statement.
Right.
I can't imagine that we were really doing anything.
Like you don't think that you were like picking on him and he was responding out to threats.
No, because me and Smoke were never really
That wasn't your
the
thing.
picking on you
Right.
type. You know
didn't
what I mean?
You don't seem like you would have been. You don't seem like you would have been bullies necessarily.
Nah.
Just kind of stuck to your crowd, even though your crowd was kind of hijinks.
Yeah.
But never didn't seem like you'd really be bullying people unless they came to your door and started problems.
No. So he threatened us with his stick gun, right? When he threatened us with the stick gun, that's when we started
You gotta
coming
take
back at
action.
him.
Yeah.
We were kind of like, get the fuck out. Like, you ain't going to do shit. Or
Right.
whatever we were saying, right?
Antagonizing him. Man just threatened to shoot you, and the first thing you need to do is antagonize.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So during this antagonization, his next, his counter punch was "fuck you Americans,"
Okay.
and that set things off in the
Right.
back of the bus,
There
right?
goes the nationalism.
I thought to myself, like, I figured he had to be ISIS,
Right. Even though
you know,
wouldn't
to
have
come in
known
here
what
talking
ISIS
about
was at that time.
to come in here talking about guns and "fuck you Americans,"
Right.
and I think he called Smoke an infidel.
Okay.
And my thought was that this guy is ISIS, and in that book bag is a suicide bomb.
Of course.
I have no choice but to disarm it.
Got to kill him.
So me and Smoke hopped over the seats when he said, you fuck you Americans, and we did some work on him. We fought for the freedom and the rights of America right there in that moment on the back of Bus 54 to Bell's Elementary School. And that's all.
And
I'm a freedom fighter.
He got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And he called his Uncle Osama to bitch about it. and
And
now
Uncle
you see what
Osama.
happened.
So really, 9/11 wasn't an
Your
inside
fault.
job.
No, it was your
it was
fault.
caused by a couple of fifth graders in fucking Washington Township.
Response to a couple of dickheads in Washington Township.
I think the problem was at that time we were listening to a lot of Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
And they were rapping some fucking heavy shit, dude.
They were.
Like we wanted to be gangsters from the east side of Cleveland.
Right. In of all the place to be gangster, now that you're a little older,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? At some point in time, you wanted to be a gangster from Cleveland.
I mean, I feel like here's the thing. Bone Thugs has stuck to the script.
Okay.
Like they really, I think that they probably weren't playing a character early in their career.
Okay.
Like, even though they were singing harmonic music,
Yeah.
even though they were,
But they weren't saying
quite
anything
frankly,
nice.
they were like basically a doo-wop band.
Well, I mean, they took sort of Snoop's presentation and just expanded upon it, because Snoop was very, very sing-songy, especially on Doggy Style. It was very sing-songy, and all they did was just the four of them were sing-songy together. But the shit that they were talking about was not sing-songy stuff.
There was nothing. They were very thugged out at that point. I just re-listened to it today.
Okay.
So that's why I bring it up. I think that the fact that I wanted to be a gangster from Cleveland, there's still a piece of me that holds on to that, actually.
Okay.
You know what? Because I sometimes on occasion watch a fucking motorcycle channel, and the dude rides around Cleveland.
Okay.
And I think to myself, I wouldn't mind hanging out. Like, he rides around like the hood in Cleveland. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay, so that's what fucking East 1999 looks like.
It doesn't seem as brutal as you might think.
That's what St. Clair looks like.
Right.
And I figure like there's still a little piece of me in my heart that wants to be like a folk or a GD from Cleveland.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
So
So we're on to rap music.
yeah.
So this is.
But this is why I bring up Bone
Oh
Thugs.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're right. My bad.
So I went back, but hold that thought.
I will.
So I went to I was listening. I went to listen back to both East 1999 and Creeping on a Come Up, because Creeping on a Come Up was probably the first gangster rap album, like the first hardcore rap album that I heard.
That's crazy.
Thanks to Sheldon Epps.
That's crazy to me.
Now I probably heard some
I'm-
before that.
I'm not saying that you're wrong or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in the context.
Well, that you're that old. Yeah, I know.
Well, I guess that's part of it, but like in the context of being introduced to rap and it's starting that type of rap.
Yeah.
And it's starting at I guess because
1994.
Because that was right. So like your first gangster rap album isn't NWA or something like
No.
that. It's
Bone
Bone
Thugs.
Thugs, which is fine. I'm not knocking Bone Thugs. It seems out of order.
Yeah. And I had that same thought, actually. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that I wasn't introduced to gangster rap through NWA. I had that same exact thought as
Right.
I was kind of thinking of it
or
today.
the Chronic or Doggy Style or anything like
Yeah,
that.
none of that West Coast
Yeah,
shit. It
yeah.
was fucking Cleveland.
Right.
Cleveland is the city where we come from, so round.
No, I know the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have
what
to
a
redo
fucking
it.
good album. And it's a fucking phenomenal album that I think stands the test of time. However,
However.
I think somebody needs to remaster it, right?
Okay.
Because the bass in both Creeping on a Come Up, but more so East 1999. As I'm listening to this, my rearview mirror was shaking the whole way through.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know. The bass is heavy the whole way through,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have a good mastering on it. So it doesn't sound crisp and clean like something that, 10, 15 years, 20 years later is going to sound super clean. It's very muffled. You can't pull out one bass note from the other at times. You know what I mean? And it sounds very fucking jumbled together. There's no crispness to it.
So
And I think that should it go through a master mix,
yeah.
you could bring that back, and that album stands the test of time because nobody has really done what Bone Thugs did.
Right.
Some people have tried, but nobody has been able to fucking make that lane of music that successfully and that well as Bone Thugs did. And so I think that if you get it sounding up to date, even the songs that were made in 1994, 95, 96 will still knock and hold weight today, but they just need a good edit on them, a good mix on them.
So so that's like 94, 95, right? So when you mastered an album in that era, they were not planning on the way we listen to music now.
Right.
So the way they mastered it was completely appropriate for the time. And I'm not disagreeing that there should be a remastering, but the way that they use bass now, because of the way we listen to music now, even if they remastered it, you'd probably still feel that sort of aged feeling to it because that's the way it was supposed to sound.
Yeah.
Like the garbled bass and things like that is what was giving it its grit. Because if you pull that out of most of it, it's very clean samples and they're very clean and crisp with their vocals. And the bass was actually there literally to create the mud that made it not sound like a doo-wop band on the corner. So,
But it doesn't sound that good in the system.
well, it sounds that
It sounds okay, but
it sounds good in a system that's tuned for that music.
right.
So what you're tuning your sound for now is
The new Millie shit.
right, exactly, the new Millie shit, the stuff with the super heavy 808s in it.
Yeah.
So you're trimming it very differently when you're adjusting for all of that than you would for Bone. But that's not saying I disagree with you. That's just like that's one of those things you can look at as like the evolution of music is so apparent in listening to that because I'm sure at that time we can both be sure that people were driving around with 418s in the back of their Jeep playing that and it sounded fucking tremendous. So it's a matter of the way that the music changed and not so much that what they did was dated.
Yeah. So, did we talk about Millie's last week?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, well, what were you gonna say since we were talking about rap?
Well, I saw a tweet the other day, and it said I'm not going to give the specific date, but roughly the albums that came out in 1998 in the last week of September is the greatest single day of hip hop ever. And so you say something like that to me, and I'm going to have to dig in and see
In
what
1998?
1998.
Let's
So-
see what would have came out then. Wu-Tang Forever?
No.
Okay, what came out that week?
So the ones that they pointed to, the four that they pointed to were Hard Knock Life Volume 2, The Love Movement, Aquemini, and Black Star. And that's a really fucking strong 4 albums as far as like pure, true, beautiful hip hop. So I went digging, and I think that person was right, and it surprised me. So I went through the last week of September of every year from 90 to 2010, and I can't find anything close to that magnitude on one day. It's just on one day.
So they were saying that out of all the Septembers, that 1998 was the best September, the last week.
Right. So back then, music only came out on Tuesdays. Music was released on Tuesdays. That was New Music Day. And on the last Tuesday of September, it was those 4 albums all in the same day. And that is the greatest single day of hip hop ever. Like album release.
Okay, so they're saying, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went through, and like there's a lot of other, like I've talked about before, November 9th of 93 is Enter the 36 Chambers and Midnight Marauders, which are 2 absolute classics. So that's but that's not 4. That's not 4 albums on the same day.
I don't even know what the Love Movement is.
That's the 4th Tribe Called Quest album.
Okay, so scratch that from the fucking record.
It's not the best of their work.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
But even if you take that off, you still have Aquemini, Hard Knock Life Volume 2, and Black Star.
Okay, and Black Star?
That's the Talib and Most.
No, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But also, scratch that from the record. So now you're dealing with Hard Knock Life
Volume 2
and Aquemini.
And it's
solid, both very solid records. Volume 2, for a while, was my favorite J album.
Okay.
And although Aquemini was never my favorite Outkast album, as of late, in my trip through Savannah, Georgia, I've gained a new respect for the older Outkast.
I think it's for me it's their 3rd best, but their first 3 they're one of those groups that have the triplet.
Was Skew It on the Barbie on Aquemini?
No,
because I also
maybe.
listened to that this morning, as well as Royal Flush, which may be the single-handed best Andre 3000 verse ever written. Royal Flush is fucking light years beyond what a lot of other people do.
Skew It on the Barbie is on Aquemini.
Yeah, okay. So Aquemini was a good album, not their best.
Okay. Which one do you think is their best?
AT Aliens.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I think Aquemini could probably be put as second.
Okay.
I think you could rate it second. And then what was their first, John?
Southern Playlist, the Cadillac Funky Music.
That was okay. That was but after Aquemini, like I think Aquemini might have been their peak, honestly. Okay, cuz here's what happened, right? Before Aquemini, they're building their buzz. They're kind of Southern Playlistic. They're getting their name heard.
Right.
AT Aliens, they fucking solidify their name.
Yeah.
Aquemini, they go from solid in the hip-hop community to now you're starting to see that they're traveling outside. Like, they're bigger than hip-hop.
Right.
Right? So it's definitely a viable argument to say Aquemini is their best work just for the fact that it brought them into a whole new fucking sphere of fans and new radio stations that were playing them, and now they're getting hella video time on fucking MTV, VH1, and BET. So it's a fair argument to say that that's their best. I don't know if that's their best selling, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
I'll look and see. They did that, and I don't have Aquemini as the best, but it's certainly top 3, and I won't argue you off of it being the best.
Yeah.
But they went through that thing that a lot of rappers and rap groups go through, and I think it hits me more personally than it does other people just because of the things that I do with music. They got that third album. Those first 3 albums are absolutely classics. And then they strayed away from their production crew. I guess my assumption would be that the production crew at that point is, whatchamacallit? Dungeon Family. And they're huge at that point because they're doing TLC stuff. They're doing all kinds of other stuff, and they're huge. And so I'm assuming they demand a lot more money than they used to, like in the Southern Playalistic time. So Outkast says, you know what? It's us that makes us great. We don't need you guys. And then that's when you start to have like Andre 3000 playing guitar on the album and things like that.
Yeah.
Not that he's not talented, but like Stankonia really moved off of their sound.
Yeah.
And I would totally agree with you that Aquemini is the peak, because then they walked away from their production, which was, I don't want to say it's half their appeal, because I'm not both of them are great MCs, but the entire sound is what makes Outkast, not just their verses.
Yeah.
And they strayed away. Redman did the same thing. He strayed away from the Eric Sermon production for whatever reason, and there's a noticeable. The albums after that are just much not as good. Much not as good.
Yeah.
Stamp it.
Yeah, but also, it's hard to say about that being the best fucking Tuesday in hip hop, because there's so
you
many.
discounted 2 of the 4 albums.
Yeah. So automatically, it's only 2 great albums. But also, there's so many. Like, I would prefer that Tuesday to fucking the Wu-Tang and Tribe Tuesday, because that wasn't my generation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So the Jay-Z Outkast is more my generation. So I prefer it. Am I saying one or the other was a bigger deal?
Right.
Not really, because I understand the science behind Wu-Tang and Tribe dropping in the same day, and both of them being who they are and becoming what they are, and the fucking whole movements that both of them spawned. They're probably more important to hip-hop because of the fucking tentacles that fucking grew off of each of those crews.
That's the reason that everyone points to that date, is it's the pivot, and it's when Tribe Called Quest's sound and the whole native tongues kind of approach kind of falls to the wayside, and the whole thug New York grime thing with the Wu-Tang really starts to take off and peak.
Yeah.
But I also think that both of those albums are, if I can only have 10 albums on that hypothetical island, those are 2 of them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's irrelevant because Warrack drops. And when Warrack drops, you'll listen.
I will absolutely listen.
Yeah.
And I can't decide if I'm listening because it's such a fucking train wreck, or... Nope, that's the only reason I could possibly.
Yeah, listen, if you haven't heard anybody in the live or who's watching this on the replay, WARAQ.
Just like it sounds.
Warrack.
Yeah, like Iraq, but with war in it.
Is a fucking crew of kids, knuckleheads, from...
They're super knuckleheads, too.
War somewhere in fucking Rhode Island.
Did you dig into them at all? Like, as far as, like, their background?
I heard they got locked up for inciting a riot.
Right, and somewhere I'm trying to sort through what's real and what's just them fucking around. It looks like the police in their area has labeled them a gang.
Yeah.
They're wild. And you sent me that one thing.
Fucking Charlie Brown's gang.
So you sent me the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instantly,
because somebody literally sent that to me,
right,
and said, when I think of Shed Jam, this is what I think of.
Oh, see, that's that's
pretty fucking hurt.
Insulting.
That's a hurt piece.
That's incredibly insulting.
I'm just the messenger,
Look,
bro.
I don't. You could have sent that and said compared it to anybody, and it would have been incredibly insulting to that whoever that anybody was.
I'm just the messenger, dude.
But so the first thing I did was watch it and listen to it, and I don't think they're all that special as far as lyricists. The one guy, they're outside walking towards the camera the whole time and rapping a cappella.
Yeah.
And one guy comes out of nowhere and just runs through a door that's just out there in the middle of the...
It's leaned up against
backyard.
a bush.
Yeah, and he just crashes through the door.
Yeah.
And he never rapped. I'm completely unclear as to why the door's there at all anyway. And this is what they do. And it has a very unprofessional juggalos feel to it.
Yeah.
But so the next thing I did was I played it for my son. Now, I don't think he's necessarily the authority on music, but I like to hear his opinion on things because he doesn't have my jaded look on things.
Yeah.
And he said something to me, and I didn't even recognize it at first because of the way the video was presented. He said, "Daddy, I don't understand." I said, "I don't understand either." He said, "They're acting like they're so good at this, but he's just reading it off his phone."
Yeah.
And I went back and I watched, and it didn't even occur to me.
All of them rap off their phone.
Well, it didn't even occur to me because, like, I guess in my brain it just looked like, well, he's filming himself in the backyard.
Yeah.
That's why no, he was reading off his phone.
He's rapping off his phone.
I'm like, my fucking son even knows that these people are not doing this the right way. And it inspired me. I'm not going to lie. I went and did 2 remixes of it, and I'll play them for you later or throw them in the show or whatever because I know the live can't hear it, so it's not fun for them to sit in silence.
We'll close it out with that on the...
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll throw that in at the end. I will say this. Surprisingly, they mostly kept a beat. They mostly kept the rhythm. I did have to
you could make a beat behind them.
Yeah, like I had to do a little bit of chopping and moving. But for the most part, they stayed at 93 beats per minute the whole time. And I was a little bit impressed by that because they're walking in somebody's backyard. They're screaming the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to have any sort of routine worked out. So it's just one guy goes and the other guys are hype manning for him. And then the other guy goes and then that's it. But other than that...
No, they're trash, dude.
Okay.
Don't try and justify this.
I'm not.
They
I'm
fucking suck. And the reason that they're getting any shine is because they suck so bad, but believes that they don't suck. That's what this whole thing is about, is that they have such fucking conviction in themselves.
Confidence,
yeah.
the fucking confidence.
They are so fucking confident and they have such conviction that they're fucking good at this, and they're so clearly not, that it's such a contradiction that that's what's grabbing people and pulling them in. And it's the idea of fucking cringeworthy viewership, right? It's like you'll never believe how fucking awkward this is. You got to see this fucking thing. You got to see it. And then you pass it to somebody and you're like, oh, man, they're fucking terrible. You know, but they think they're good.
But so I'll never understand it. I really won't. Like, there are things that I'm actually documentedly good at. And I don't have confidence in those things the way that these guys have confidence in things that they are terrible at.
You never met guys like them?
No,
I've met so many fucking dudes like that.
I've met people who think that they're good and they're not as good as they think they are. But these guys have like brazen confidence. If you ask them, all they need is the right break and they'll be bigger than the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. I just don't think you've done enough jail time.
Okay.
Because these kind of guys, these kind of guys are all over fucking the jails and the rehabs and the fucking halfway houses and the NA meetings. These guys are fucking all over the place who have this dream that they are this fucking phenomenal rapper.
Right.
And no matter what you say, you can't tell them otherwise. Yeah, you just can't fucking tell them otherwise. And they fucking believe in it. And you got to respect the guy who believes in his dream.
I don't.
Because look, here's the thing. We could be the war rack of podcasting, and we'll never fucking know.
Yeah,
but I'll take it.
But we don't.
If we blow up because people think we're so bad at podcasting, and they just listen to the podcast and they're like, these guys really think they're fucking good, but they're trash. You got to listen to it. And then a fucking million people listen to it. What the fuck do we care? And that's what fucking Warrack's doing.
I'm not arguing that, but we don't ever present ourselves as the best. Like we certainly take time.
We know where we're at.
We take time to say we're still working on it. We're building a thing. We're trying to get it all together. Like, we absolutely recognize that while we might be good at banter and we might be funny, we're not at the top of our own game, let alone the top of the whole game.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have that disposition.
Not drugs.
And then the last guy comes on as an aside. I think his name's like White Mamba or Pale Mamba.
He's Pale Mamba. He's the newest member of Warrack. He's the newest signee.
He's the newest member. The first thing he says is, "I'm the toughest guy in the group."
And he's so clearly not. But maybe he is.
And then he does that.
You don't know. He could know jujitsu. He looks like a guy who might know jujitsu.
Yeah, I mean Mamba and all that.
Yeah.
And then he raps with a
with a hammer.
with a put-on gravelly voice.
Yeah.
I'm
They
the
all
white
do.
mamba.
They
Like,
all do. They
this-
all put the gravel in their voice.
As soon as you do that with like that put upon, I'm trying to kind of be DMX sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
I'm out. You could say the greatest verse in the history of hip hop, and you doing it that way, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just not fucking interested. I'll let the Gravediggers do it because they have a whole aesthetic behind why they're doing it. But this fuck, Pale Mamba, I'm the toughest guy in the group, and the other guys are just like, yeah, what he said. Like, where's your confidence now, assholes?
Bro, I watched a 17-minute video on a guy who breaks down the whole science behind Warak.
There's a science.
Oh, he was like, and then at about this point, the fucking lead rapper, whatever his name is, had started a move that would forever go down in the annals of history and then lead off every Warak video after. He hops off the porch.
Like he's,
And then you
he's
notice-
he's joining the march. Like,
Yeah. And then every video after that,
You-
the dude
he's-
hops off as something to start the video. And then he's like, and the Pale Mamba at this point adapted the moniker and began to carry hammers in every video.
Because why?
He gives you the whole song. I'm going to send it to
All
you.
right,
It's
I'm gonna
fucking
I'm gonna watch it.
it's phenomenal.
But they give off this like I said, like kind of a juggalo, kind of
Yeah.
like a
Perfectly stated.
somehow third-rate Backs War kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
Like third-rate, like Backs War, like on the pyramid scheme that Backs War is. Like they were 3 steps down on the fucking
Yeah,
pyramid
you got
scheme.
like juggalos, whoever's fucking neck.
Right.
Juggalos, Cottonmouth Kings,
Right.
Backswar, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da,
And then
Warak. Yeah. Anyway, if you've made it this far in the show,
Oh, real quick.
Yeah, what do you got?
This is fast, I promise. I just want to give a shout out to Oakley because I wear glasses, and the other day I was changing the oil in my car.
Yeah.
And so I guess I forget how it goes. I think I'm nearsighted. I can't see things well far. I can't see things well far, and that's what I need the glasses for. So when I'm doing the oil change, I got to take the glasses off so I can see the bottle and do everything I got to do.
Right.
So I took the glasses off and I put them on top of the battery, did the oil change, closed everything up, slammed the fucking hood down without taking my glasses. Totally forgot. And I didn't realize till I was in the house sitting around. I'm like, oh, I fucking just crushed my glasses.
Yeah.
They got smashed. They fell under the engine. I had to take like the whatchamacallit, the skid plate, not skid plate, but like the plastic that's underneath so that stuff doesn't kick up. Had to take that down to get everything. I bent them back into shape. The lenses are not even scratched, and the fucking glasses are in mint condition. So I don't wear them out of fashion, but those fucking things are great.
well, there you go. Get yourself a pair of Oakleys.
Get yourself some Oakleys.
There you go. If you made it this far, Jesus Christ, my eyes are fucking dried out.
That's because you got to pee.
Yeah. They're fucking floating in pee mixed with fucking espresso ice cubes.
That's right.
If you made it this far, which is the Jedi and Louis G, we
Thank you, guys.
appreciate you gentlemen for being here as always.
For sure.
If you made it this far on the replay in YouTube, thank you.
Amazing.
There's a whole gang more videos to watch. Old episodes, older episodes, the oldest episodes on YouTube. You can find the audio on iTunes and Spotify and all that. Every Friday, we're here doing the gig on the Facebook Live. And every Monday, we'll be doing the Tool Shed, which is our other show with a couple more guys and a little more chatting and a whole lot more arguing.
Right.
But we're here. Tell somebody.
Let them know,
Let them know.
son.
Yeah. Yeah, be cool. Help us the fuck out. Tell a guy to tell a guy who tells a guy that tells another guy.
And they all subscribe.
Then next thing you know, we got a whole fucking bunch of guys listening. We're fucking hanging
right.
out in the chat. The more guys who are hanging out in the chat, the better the chat's going to be, the more fun it's going to be.
Basically, the better is for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Louis G, the Jedi, we appreciate you guys being in the chat all the way till the end. I hope y'all have a good evening and a good weekend. I'm going to pee. I'm going to kick Payday out of my house,
Not yet.
and I'm going to bang my wife.
That you got to go pee and come back, and then 20 minutes later I'll leave.
We're out of here.
All right.
Peace.
What rack better than your favorite MC? 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 Bass watch us, it gets impact. We always got the public of America in a frenzy. With our phones in our hands, we always fucking ready. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and even Eminem can't match us. We spit hard bars, ain't nothing but mad tough. Get nothing but mad love. We'll rack the fucking best, the rest just mad tough. Fuck Drake, fuck T-Pain, fuck the whole mainstream. If you ain't war rack, then we not on the same team. I don't care who told ya, we soldiers, quick to fold ya. Hard like boulders, nobody colder, fuck your poses. If we clowns, then we the Joker. We'll choke ya while we roast ya. See, we fucking gangsters. War plans, bitch, we'll flank ya, bake ya, spit in your face after we thank ya. Knock out your lights and don't wanna think twice, you risk your life. Make your heart stop when I'm in the drop top. Hopscotch till I got drops. I never ran from shit but cops. I got heavy hitters in the cut to take out your weak knees. Hey yo, Chiefs.
Black raps will play pagans and segregate them, no separate section to the serpents beheaded. Fuck a Porsche, I'm in a phone doing phones and got a bottle of chloroform on the floorboards and got more than stole for y'all. I'm the bee's knees, his legs in his arms to speak, he like me, palm and MCs on Vietcong to Vietnam and drop F-bombs on Angel Con with war, I bring a star.
Now introducing Morat's new artist, Pale Mamba.
It's hammer time, baby. Let's get to spitting. Yeah, I'm the toughest in the group. I make ones, twos, and threes when I shoot. Yeah, I'm ballin'. I ain't talking hoops. Just me, and I'ma take your whole crew. Snaps the chain and watch who they run to. Yeah, like these cigarettes, you can get smoked. Yeah, when I get to punching, I look like the Hulk. Yeah, walking the ACI and they all stand to a halt. We're racking the bank, and we aiming for the vote.
Go, we aiming for the vote, baby.
That's right, big W's.